You're not imagining things. This country may very well be going nuts. The line from many on the left today is that the Ma'Khia Bryant shooting was just a schoolyard fight, escalated by police into another murder by a racist cop. Yes, a schoolyard fight where one kid is about to plunge a knife into another kid. Just kids being kids, right? Every day in this country, it seems like we get a little dumber. And while common sense is prevailing for the most part in this case, and the country is by and large not condemning the Columbus cop that shot Ma'Khia Bryant, Democrats are still thirsting to divide us and turn everything without any evidence into systemic racism. Today, we saw funeral services for Daunte Wright. It looked more like a state funeral. You see Al Sharpton there, Senator Amy Klobuchar as well. Now, of course, these people would never show up for the thousands of young black men murdered by criminals in Democrat-run cities. Oh no, there's no political gain in attending those funerals. Now, of course, Daunte Wright's death was tragic. He should not have died. Even the cop who shot him admits that. Many of you have seen this body camera footage where Wright resists arrest after officers learned that he had an active warrant for an illegal firearm. The officer, clearly warning him that he would be tased, fires her gun instead. But at the funeral today, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz presented Daunte Wright's parents with a flag and a proclamation where the governor insisted that Daunte Wright was a victim of systemic racism.
While nothing will bring Daunte Wright back to his loved ones, we must continue to enact real, meaningful change at the local, state, and national levels to fight systemic racism so that every single person in Minnesota, black, indigenous, brown, and white, can be safe and thrive.
What a fool. Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar was also at the funeral looking for some publicity. She talked about Daunte Wright and the other police-involved shooting that's making headlines, of course, Ma'Khia Bryant.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And may Daunte Wright serve as a guardian for all of us. A young woman whose life was taken by Columbus police.
Taken by Columbus police, the life of Ma'Khia Bryant. Another sad story, no doubt there. Omar, though, doesn't mention the knife in Ma'Khia Bryant's hand that's about to be plunged into another girl, or anything about that other girl, the woman in pink, we all know now, whose life could have easily ended about 2 seconds after that officer decided to open fire. With comments like Omar's, it's no wonder many people have such a warped view of the case, many of these cases, and policing in general. Our correspondent James Klug caught up with people in Minneapolis in what's now being called George Floyd Square today.
I do believe that it had to put pressure on the jury. You're telling me to fall in line with the social contract that you've created, but then once you break it and then you murder us, I'm not allowed to burn down a business?
It's an epidemic because the police, they don't care about the black people.
Yeah, cops are all racist. They hate black people. That's why they spend most of their time defending people in black neighborhoods and high crime areas. It seems like the damage has already been done by the media and the left, with a lot of the public already brainwashed against cops. It's no wonder why officers are leaving the force. Seeing it a lot. On top of animosity from the public, if our elected leaders aren't going to support our officers, who, by the way, they use all the time for their own personal security, a la Ilhan Omar, and there's a threat of losing your immunity as a cop if something goes wrong, why would anybody be a cop? And if you are one, why in the hell would you try? If this officer in Columbus is going to be vilified for preventing a potentially deadly stabbing, which he did, maybe next time he sees one, he'll just turn around, go get a cup of coffee. We're seeing this all around the country. The nightly Antifa riots in Portland haven't stopped. It's almost a joke at this point. Portland federal courthouse is assaulted constantly. Nobody even cares anymore. Oh yeah, Portland. Yeah, that's the place that's always on fire. Glad I don't live there. Since last July, 115 officers have left the police bureau in Portland. This was the headline in the Oregonian. Overworked, overwhelmed, and burned out. Why Portland cops say they're leaving in droves. Well, no kidding. Here's a headline out of Albuquerque, New Mexico just yesterday. Cadets to fill void after a dozen APD officers resign from emergency response team. Of course. It's happening all around the country. In Philadelphia, the Fraternal Order of Police President says they're understaffed by hundreds of officers, and the problem's only getting worse.
Coupled with the pandemic and the future, getting classes in and getting them through the academy, we're at dangerously low levels.
Meanwhile, Oklahoma took steps today to protect their officers and the public, the way any good red state would. The governor today signed 2 bills. One bill makes it illegal to film police while they're on the job. Now, the left is going to go nuts about that after George Floyd, of course. But what this really is, don't listen to them, is a clear attempt at protecting officers' identities, to protect their families from these violent organizations and the wackos that belong to them like Antifa and BLM. And they need that protection. Another grants immunity to drivers who hit protesters if they feel threatened. So you drive up on a protest and people get around your car, they try to pull you out like they did to a guy in a semi-truck just the other day in Minneapolis. You're safe. It's easy to see why these kinds of laws are being put in place with fools like LeBron James and Kathy Griffin, who have massive followings sending out very irresponsible and idiotic tweets. Here's LeBron's tweet one more time. "You're next." Sent out to 50 million followers with a picture of a cop who did nothing wrong. That's why cops need protection, because people like LeBron, they don't care. They don't care about the rules or the laws or anything. They're just pandering, doing whatever they got to do, sell more sneakers, fool. The officer who most consider a hero is a U.S. Air National Guardsman. We're not going to give you his name. He received an expert marksman badge with an M4 carbine rifle. He's been deployed to several contingencies within the United States, once went overseas for 6 months. Meanwhile, we always give credit when credit is due, and tonight we are. Even Don Lemon and CNN admitting that this shooting, despite what LeBron says, was justified.
When they roll up on a scene, they see people tussling around, someone has a knife, and their job is to protect and serve every life on that scene. And if they see someone who is in the process of taking a life, what is that decision? What decision do they have to make? And I know that people say, well, you know, you could do this, you could do that. Tasers don't work the way guns work.
That was Don Lemon. That was last night. It's a big moment. I have some faith again. But not all the liberals are in line on this one. Over at Fox, watered-down, digestible liberal Juan Williams is Monday morning quarterbacking the Ma'Khia Bryant story.
Well, I guess I would shoot the gun, not necessarily at somebody, but maybe shoot the gun and maybe, you know, run at the person and try to disarm them. I don't know. I mean,
so wait. You would shoot the gun in the air like a warning shot?
Not, well, hopefully to distract or to try to stall or something.
Next time you're in a predicament, don't call the cops. Call Juan Williams. He'll handle it perfectly. And remember when Kathy Griffin tweeted last night that this was just a couple of teens having a fight. This is so outrageous that one of them was shot. It's just a couple of kids having a schoolyard fight. Well, check out this headline from just down the road, not even a couple hours away from Columbus. Cincinnati police charged 13-year-old girl in stabbing death of another girl, also 13. You can't make it up.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.